What's up, Dragon Brood? We have our favorite buddy Dev here again today. So we're going to be talking about some Avatar underrated cards because, man, there is a lot to talk about in this set, dude.
Cheese Louise, macaroni and cheese. What I want to talk about is the fact that I'm your favorite. I just heard you said that just now,
I'm
going to
did.
hold that for the rest of my life. I will hold that in my heart. I
You
will.
should. We'll put you on the plaque of favored guest at some point. That'll be behind me. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
over here. You can't even really see it. It's on this side of the room.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
over there.
It's over here somewhere.
Right.
Right.
So just off camera, but it is there.
Dude, also trade secret. If y'all were to ever see anything outside of this frame of camera, it is a disaster.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
this looks presentable, but oh my god, if y'all can see the rest of the studio, like
Just cleaned my office like 3 days ago, and it's still really bad. It's still like so bad. There's crap all over the floor. But that's the sign of a productive person.
It is. It is. Speaking of, if y'all want to see some productive videos, go over to Dev's channel. Go check them out. SPMTG. Y'all, if you're not subscribed yet, you should be. I tell people all the time, like, y'all always get in the comments, if you like my stuff, you're gonna like his stuff. So just go over there. Just go over there.
We both build weird decks, so there's that.
Also,
so much high praise today. So much high. It's really it's filling my heart with warmth.
I'm also gonna say this, like, y'all need to stay on Dev because we were just talking about some ideas, and y'all know those ideas. So I ain't gonna put them on here again. But if you've been around a minute, you know. Yep. We got to make those happen. So
we must. I see it in the comment section all the time. Like, when you and PowrDragn going to do that thing? And apparently we're going to do it. I swear to God. But we have a job to do today.
We do.
This is my favorite video out of all the videos we make. You know, we go back and we check the stuff that we did last season. We talk about the overrated cards and we put on our spy cats like, oh, this card sucks and I hate Magic cards are bad. But this is my favorite video to do because we actually get to talk about like some stuff we're excited to play that maybe we want to introduce to you if you haven't done it yet. You know, this is my favorite thing to do, like basically every preseason. I'm glad I get to do it with you. Let's talk some underrated cards.
Yeah,
in the Avatar set.
So why don't you go first and surprise some people?
And I get to go first. Okay, so this one is a card that I think is probably decent in Commander, if nothing else, but I think it has some chops in Standard, and I don't understand why Ozai the Phoenix King is only like $11 right now. So this is way cheaper than most of the other Mythics in the set in terms of price, even during pre-order. This is 2, and then 2 black, and then 2 red. So 6 total mana for a 7/7 legendary human noble with trample and firebending 4 and haste. If you would lose unspent mana, that mana just becomes red instead, and it's still hanging out in your pool. Ozai has flying and indestructible as long as you have 6 or more unspent mana. So, a couple cool things about this. Let me just say the word Arden to you. Arden the Usurper is the name of the guy. So if I use Arden, first of all, I don't spend any mana on that reanimator spell that turn. Arden just lets me reanimate a guy every turn. So I reanimate this dude for free, and then I firebending 4. You see, so this is 4 free mana in that particular case. And it won't take me too long to get to 6 unspent mana to where this dude is basically indestructible. Apart from that, if I just zombify this guy out of my graveyard, he immediately pays for himself when he swings, and he gets to swing that turn. He got haste. So he pays me back 4 mana, which is what I spent on the zombify. He's got good stats. He's got tramps too. Like, what's wrong with this card? Are there just better reanimation targets? Maybe, but I'm not convinced of that. This guy ends the game in 3 bites. You know, he swings the turn he comes into play. He makes tons of mana. If he swings a second turn, he's, paid you back double for the zombify. It's just, this guy looks pretty incredible to me, man. And I mean in Standard, I think it's possible this guy's playable.
I think the one thing you said is probably the one thing that could hold it back is there's just great reanimator targets right now.
Yeah, I mean, Valgaboss in Standard,
Yeah, well, even what we're seeing with the demon and kind of getting an instant win, basically.
Bringer of the last end or whatever. Bringer of the last gift.
Like, I think that's the only thing holding this back, because if we are going to reanimate, it's like, well, right now we're kind of seeing the best version of reanimator that we've seen. Maybe ever. I don't know.
A long time in Standard. Yeah. I mean, we have a reanimator deck so good right now that it can win in a format full of graveyard hate.
Yeah, exactly.
So what does that tell you?
So that makes it a pretty tough spot to find. Now, we do have a lot of fire bending and whatnot, so it's very possible there are other ways to play this. Maybe a one
Yeah.
of as your top end in the black red fire bending deck or something. Very doable. I think it could live there. But I think to your point, the best use will be somebody finding something cool to do with it from a reanimator standpoint.
Yeah. Yep. Just the fact that it has haste and gives you that 4 mana, like there's got to be something you can do with that. There's got to be. Even if it's just, oh, I'm playing Collector's Vault in my Reanimator deck, I'll use some of this mana to use Collector's Vault or, something like that. Or you can just bank the mana. The turn that you
Yeah,
zombify him, you can get your 4 mana and then like you don't have to use it right then and there. It's not like other firebending. Like, as long as he's around, that red mana is just going to stick around in your pool.
sure.
So, you can just bank it and then try to get him indestructible as quickly as possible. So, I don't know, man. There's some wrinkles to it. There's some layers to it. And even though I don't think it's as good as Valgaboth or Bringer or all the other reanimator stuff we're doing, Arden, whatever, I still think it might end up like one of those things is like a one of every now and again, just because like
Well,
it's got some real value to it,
that's not to say there can't be another type of reanimator deck
Yeah.
because of the extra mana and the haste or whatever. You know?
But that's my number 5 right there. I am interested in what you've got. I've been staring at my picks for the last 3 days. What are yours?
Well, my number 5 is kind of interesting because this is a case where I think there is some hype around this card, but I don't think nearly enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the card is Secret Tunnel. It's
Oh
a
yeah, this card's crazy. Yeah.
it's a land that's a cave.
Yep.
It can't be blocked, which is interesting that we got to see this type of text on lands in the set. There's one that has
Yeah.
like vigilance and something else.
Yeah, like
But
lands that can't become creatures naturally. There's no way on the card to make
yeah,
it a land, make it a creature, but it still has like a creature ability. I love that. I really do.
now it is a cave, so that could be important for the
Yeah.
cave decks. It does tap because it doesn't enter the battlefield tapped, which is important. So you can still tap for colorless mana. And then for 4 mana and tapping it, you could just make 2 other things that can't be blocked that turn.
Yeah.
So very interesting. I think
Yeah. Does this sacrifice?
no.
That's wild, right?
It's just
It's
4,
just,
tap it, 2 target creatures can't be blocked.
it's just better than Rogue's Passage.
Yeah, outright. Like, and that's where it started for me because I'm like, okay, people still play Rogue's Passage from time to time, every once in a while in standard, but pretty regularly in Commander. I see
Yeah,
it.
it's a really popular commander card. Basically a staple in
Yeah,
Commander.
so I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, then making 2 things unblockable 4 mana has to be quality.
It's literally twice as good. You know?
But thinking about it in terms of the earthbending decks,
Yeah.
like you could just keep juicing up a land to just attack with.
Yeah, just throw like all your +1/+1 counters on this.
Yeah,
You
well, not
know?
even all of them. If I just make it like a 4/4, that's plenty.
That's you're ending the game in a few bites,
Yeah, and you
when
just
that
can't block
happens.
it, right? And if they
Can't do
kill it,
anything
you
about
just
it.
get it back and start again.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a wasted removal spell if they kill it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm like, this
Seriously.
card, if I'm doing earthbending of any significant amount in my deck, like, this is an automatic at least 2 or 3 of.
Yeah, depending on how
And
many colors you're playing in your deck,
yeah.
But if you're a 2-color deck, you could probably fit 4 of this.
Hell,
You
honestly,
know?
is it possible that there's just mono green earthbending?
Yeah, maybe.
And you just
Especially if
play
you're
4 of these?
monocolored. Yeah,
Yeah,
all 4. Yeah, no questions asked, dude.
like, why not?
Because
You
even if
know?
you get it started as like at Earthbending 1 or whatever, like before long, it can get really big. So,
Yeah,
imagine this in like an Ouroboros deck where you can somehow put counters on it and
sure.
start going.
But not just that, later
You
on,
know,
you can be like, "Well, I have these creatures that are big because of an Ouroboros. You can't chump block my dudes. I'm just gonna make them unblockable."
I was going to say the same thing. Like, even if you can't make the creature or the land into a creature, the land can then make your 2 biggest Ouroborosed guys, get in for combat damage. So that could be
Yeah,
good in and of itself. Also, like in your like Tifa Mossberg Hydra deck, Mossborn Hydra decks, I know they have trample, but this just makes sure there's absolutely no blocking shenanigans in that deck, and you get the landfall trigger or whatever. So there are a lot of decks in standard right now, like a surprising amount that really just want to get their guys through for combat damage because they have like a couple of huge guys in their deck. Um, yeah, I gotta agree with you on this one.
yeah.
Honestly, I
This
think
to
I've
me,
seen some hype with this, but not as much, like you said, as it deserves. Yeah,
I would not be surprised if in the short term this card hangs around like 15-ish dollars, but over
could
time
be.
goes up to a $20 to $25 card.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that'll be because of like commander play. To be honest with you,
Absolutely,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely, because of Commander.
Yep. Yeah, I think that this is going to be like a new kind of commander staple. And we got a few of those in this set, but as far as lands go, right, we got all those monocolored lands that you might as well play in your monocolored deck.
Yeah, I
But
wonder if
yeah,
people have already started trying to toss this in decks over on EDH Rec and Commander. I
probably.
would be really surprised if they haven't.
Yeah. Yeah, because this could go, but especially any commander that cares about like combat damage triggers or something like that, or
Yeah,
just attacking in general. Ishin Two Heavens is one or something like this could go in just about anything. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's
yeah,
so many decks where I'm just like, I could see so many uses for this that this feels like it probably is going to be more expensive than it is right now.
yeah, and every now and again, people get onto us for pre-order prices in these videos, even though like their pre-order prices, sure, but the prices are proportional with the rest of the set. You see, so it's always the point that I want to make. But in this case, there's always one or two cards that are going for a certain pre-order price and then will go up once people realize how good they are. And I think that Secret Tunnel might be a secret card like that in this set. So
Yeah,
good call.
it's
This is one of
definitely
those
one
I
I think
expect
that
that
over
we come.
time it's going to go up for sure.
Yeah, this is one of those I expect that in a couple of months we come back to check these, and this is more,
Yeah,
more expensive. So
I'm gonna lose games to this card,
yeah,
like just
100%.
straight up. Like,
Yep. This is one of those where like you don't think it's a big deal now, but within a month, you'll be like your opponent will play one as their land drop, and you'll be like, "Oh no!" Like,
yep, like this is how I
immediately.
lose.
Yep.
Like,
Especially considering I'm pretty sure it doesn't come into play tap, does it?
no,
So you can just drop it on turn 5 and immediately activate it and
yep,
win.
yep.
Like, that seems okay too.
That's what I'm saying. Like the fact that this doesn't enter tap for some unknown reason,
Right.
I don't even know why.
It's kind of insane.
Yep, I'm here for it though.
Whew. Yeah, same, same. I think it's a really good land.
But all right,
Set has a
what you
lot of good
rocking with here,
utility.
man?
All right, my next card, I guess my number 4 here, is Ty Lee Chi Blocker. So this
Ooh,
is kind of like a Flood Pit's Drowner, but in some ways better, in some ways worse, but I think in important ways better. 3 mana, 2 and a blue for a 2/1 legendary human performer ally with both flash and prowess, a key ability on this, I think. When Ty Lee enters, tap up to one target creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control Ty Lee. Now, what I look at this as is a Flash Brutal Cathar or a Flash Fiend Hunter or something like that.
I got you.
However, Brutal Cathar doesn't usually have prowess. And I think that prowess is always a dangerous ability. Always, always. I think it's interesting that with enough mana, you can flash this in for their attack step. Flash this in, tap something down before it attacks. I have a blocker. And if I have open mana and cards in my hand, you might not want to attack, dog. Because like you don't know how high I can get this thing's PT. You don't know, right? And even if you do, even if I block with it the same turn I play it and you kill it, I still tapped your guy down, which means you don't get to attack with him this turn, and I get to attack through him on my turn. So I think Dimir probably plays a copy or two of this, just the way that deck is built. I think it's copies 5 and 6 of Flood Pit's Drowner, and it wants that. I think it wants a 3-drop to play on top of Kaito. I think it might even be better than like Preacher of the Schism and Carsey Revenant and other 3-drops that typically will show up on curve in Dimir. Carsey Revenant's a good one against the aggro decks right now. I'll give you that. But this is really good against aggro too. It dies to Burst Lightning and blah, blah, blah. However, I think that in a tempo deck, and Dimir is largely a tempo deck rather than like a mid-range or aggro deck. In tempo, I think this is worth the 2 of all day, especially in current standard, where let's say your opponent throws down Nova Hellkite, right? And they take something out. And then before they attack that turn, you can tap it down with this for multiple turns. If Flood Pit's Drowner is good, I think this is good. Even though this costs 50% more than a Flood Pit's Drowner, Flood Pit's Drowner doesn't have prowess. And again, I think that
Fair.
that is a really good ability, especially if you, one more thing, if you do this early enough in the game, if you on curve go turn 3, cast Ty Lee, tap their guy down, and then get to untap on your turn, I think you've probably engineered a situation where you get a free attack with Ty Lee, with all that prowess, So I think it does a good amount of damage over the game, somewhat reliably, especially if you cast it early. And again, it effectively locks a creature down for the entire time it's in play, which is better than Drowner in some ways. Flood Pit's Drowner is just a stun counter. This is the whole time it's in play. So I've had a lot to say about this. That's because I've got a lot of faith in it. I think this card is better than your average kind of mana war effect, especially
Sure.
given the flash. So I like it a lot. How do you feel?
I would say this. I think if it ends up getting played, it's gonna be played more in the mono blue, tempo, flash, whatever type decks that we've been
Yeah.
seeing. Because there, you get benefits for playing stuff during your opponent's end step. Again, you're still trying to be aggressive, so tapping down a thing or two could be pretty powerful.
Pretty good.
Like, you're already playing, what is it, Balin or whatever, the 2 mana 2/2 that turns into a land at the end of turn or whatever, that gets a
Oh, that
benefit.
guy. Yeah, yeah.
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 So it kind of fits with a lot of stuff that that deck already kind of wants to do. And that deck's like on the cusp of being like a real thing. Like I
It's
still run in,
close.
yeah, I run into it a couple of times a week on the ladder. That it's definitely playable. And I've played a version of it that you can definitely win games with. So it might be a card or two away. Is this the card that breaks it? Maybe. I don't know, but it's one that they could definitely play for sure.
Yeah. I just feel like more than a lot of cards in the set, this has a day one home because there's a lot of cards
Sure.
that
Sure.
look really good and that you can speculate on and making new decks and all that. But there aren't a whole lot of cards in the set that it's like, oh, that goes in Demir, or that goes in mono blue, or whatever. And I think this is one of the very few cards in the set that has that almost certain home day one. We'll see if it's like, oh, League 5 includes a one of Tylee, and then the next week, does that number go up or down? But I
Yeah.
think that's how the story will be, right? Do we go from 1 to 0 or do we go from 1 to 2?
Sure. Yeah.
That'll determine a lot as far as like how good this card actually is. But I do think that if this card is not good, then we have gone too far. But
Fair.
anyway,
Yeah.
what is, I guess, your number 4 at this point?
Actually, is it number 4? Actually, I feel like we're on my number 3, maybe? I don't know where we are.
Oh, no, would it be your 3? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I
We're
don't
on
know anymore.
I don't know. Either way, we're on this fun card that I wanted to talk about because I think this might be one of the better lands we've seen in a minute. Maybe I'm just doing an all lands review
Yeah,
here. I don't
right.
know. But Ba Sing Se.
Oh, yeah, the
This is
green one. Yep.
Yeah, like this is such a cool card, man. If you're already doing earthbending,
Yep.
this has to be a card. Now, I will say this: I think the black one was a little weaker than I wanted it to be, but this series of lands in the set is pretty good.
Yeah,
So
typically. Yeah. The
this
black one
land,
may cost a little bit too much to activate, but it's still fine, I
yeah,
guess.
this says land enters tapped unless you control a basic land, which fairly easy to do. Again, we were talking about could you just mono green earthbending, like this
Yeah.
would fit that, right? But it taps for green mana, so you don't even get colorless, you get real mana from it. And for 3 mana, 2 and a green, you tap it and you earthbend 2. Now, it has to be activated as a sorcery, but that
Yep.
seems reasonably fine. But in a way, this is a safer creature land. Now, it doesn't have the ability to block because you can't do it during combat and whatever, so you
Right.
have to telegraph your creature. But it has 2 things here. One, that you can just keep making any land into a creature if you wanted to.
Yep.
Your
Even if
your
they
land
kill it, you can just like it'll come back and you can make that same
exactly.
land into a guy. Yeah.
Your land's gonna come back anyway if it dies. You can also keep growing a land. So if something's already a 2/2 or 3/3 or whatever, you're like, "Great, here's 2 more counters I'm gonna attack with this." Right? So it's just a really cool, useful
Yep.
card. I This is one that I could see showing up in random formats where you would play mono green, like Pioneer or whatever. Like, this is just a fine additional land to have.
Yeah, this is interesting as a stompy card to help cover your
Yeah,
bases against, sweepers and stuff like that. Because usually a creature land is just the one land, you can swing with that land and then you're done. This, you can actually, after a sweep or something, you could end up turn by turn making like 2 or 3 creatures that you're attacking with. That's not bad. Or
yeah,
like you said, you can go tall. You
yeah,
can go
or
tall
late
and
in the
make a
game
6/6.
where you have that 8, 9, 10 mana because the game's gone long, you're just like, "Okay, well, I'll just activate 2 Bossing Says."
Yeah.
Because while it's named, for whatever reason, these aren't
Not
legendary.
legendary. Yep, not legendary. Yeah, I think for covering your bases in Stompy, this is one of the better quote unquote creature lands. I think that's probably the best way to look at it, like you said, is like it's kind of a creature land. Only you're not attacking with it, and it's just gonna like keep making it's a creature factory in a lot of
Yeah,
ways.
of sorts.
And in a way, if you want to go ahead and swing with or block with that creature that same turn cycle, it's kind of like 5 mana to activate this. Because it's 3 plus tapping the land, and then you need to keep the land untapped that you earthbend.
And you
So
know
it's a
what else
little
is? several of the restless lands cost you 4 plus the land to do a thing.
That's
So
true. I mean, it's effectively 5. I mean,
yeah,
I can't tell you how many times I've attacked with that Orzhov Restless Land, and like that's 5 effectively 5 mana. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's not like it's unheard of.
and this is basically 4 because it's
Yeah.
3 and tap it and the land itself.
Yeah, I do
So it's
wish
like,
that it could be activated instant speed, like end of your opponent's turn or something. I
sure, sure,
wish you could do that, but I don't. I think it's a pretty freaking good land. And not all of these are amazing, but I think this is probably a good pick because everyone's talking about the red one because it kind of generates mana.
sure.
Everyone says the black one's the worst one. And this one's kind of in the middle where people aren't paying as much attention to it, either positively or negatively.
This
I think
this
it's a
has
bad idea. It's a good card.
this has a big benefit over the other ones though.
Hmm.
That you can put the counters on itself so it can't get demolition fielded.
That's actually a really, I had not thought about that. That's a really good point. That's a
Yep.
really good point.
Where the others can go away, you're just like, first thing I want to do is turn this into a 2
To
2.
a yeah, into a dude. Yep.
Yep.
And I mean, like, if your opponent spends a removal spell on one of your creature lands, like one of your man lands, you've lost your man land and they've lost their removal spell. If they use their removal on, one of your earthbent lands, then it's kind of like you're ahead.
Yeah.
Like you can just turn that land into a dude again and they used a removal spell. So they really didn't go anywhere. They just kind of stalled the inevitable. I think that's a big deal when compared to other creature lands.
There's also an
So,
upside here when you're playing mono green aggro, which is actually playable right now.
oh yeah,
Like,
there's a few ways to build mono green. It's really good.
yeah. The thing you run into is, do you want to play any of the colorless creature lands? Right.
Right.
And those are real and sometimes they're worth playing. But here you don't have to make that decision on your mana. You can be like, great, I'm just going to play these. The majority of the time, they're going to enter the battlefield untapped
Yeah,
anyway
I mean, I've
because the
got
rest
like
of your land are
20
forests.
forests in my deck. Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing like 20 forests and 2 or 3 of these, right? So it's almost always going to be untapped. So there's no downside to worrying about, man, can I play the charm that needs 3 green or whatever the case is, right? This allows you to still do all that and get the benefit of having a creature land later if you want it.
And like this is a bit of an edge case, but this is an interesting call for the mono green Tifa decks in standard right now. Even if you're only playing 1 or 2, like there's going to be times where the land dies and that causes Tifa's landfall ability to go off. And more importantly, the land can die in combat or something or to a removal spell or whatever. And that'll cause Mossborn Hydra to go off because the land dies, it comes back into play, landfall trigger, Mossborn gets huge. And maybe your opponent didn't see that or whatever. So, and I also think that the opportunity cost is so low in mono green
Yeah.
landfall that you might as well play it.
This to me is my favorite of these lands. Like the minute I saw it, I'm just like, yeah, like this is a staple for mono green aggro decks.
It's like I'm boring. I like the blue one. All it really does is loot. But
Yeah.
I think that one is crazy for control decks. This one, on the other hand, I do think is once you realize how earthbending works, all the rules of earthbending, this card is really, really irritating.
Yep.
So I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think it's a really good pick. I think people will, after they get to play with it, they'll like realize all the different layers that earthbending brings to this card. Like, oh, it just comes back. Oh, if I make it a creature, it comes back. Like, yeah, that's pretty insane. So yeah, good call on that. In a way, it reminds me of like a crawling barons, right? Because you can just
Yeah, yeah.
continue to make a land bigger over and over until you finally swing
But the
with it.
difference is you can go, all right, this is already a 4/4. I'm gonna make another one a 2/2.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Right?
like this creates a board turn over turn. Like if you
Yeah.
don't draw a creature, you can just make another creature. That's really good.
The best way to play around sweepers.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe the best land that does that in standard for sure.
Yep.
It's a good call.
All right, man. What do you have up next?
Next one is one that I'm very excited about. It certainly is. My next 2 cards, I can't wait to talk about these. Zuko Conflicted is my number 3 here, I guess, or whatever. Yeah, my number 3. This is a black and a red for a 2/3 legendary human rogue. At the beginning of your first main phase, choose one that has not been chosen, and you lose 2 life. On the first mode, you can draw a card. Second mode is put a +1/+1 counter on Zooks. Or next mode is add a red mana. The final mode is exile Zuko, return him to the battlefield under your opponent's control. So that means that he will be refreshed. All of his modes will be refreshed. Your opponent can choose those modes. Here's the deal. At the point in the game where Zuko actually flips over, I think it's entirely possible your opponent will have used a removal spell on him by then anyway. But if your opponent does get a Zuko, it's at the point in the game where they really don't have this life to spend anymore. You know, in the early game, you might want to spend this life in your Cecil deck, let's just say. Because you want to get to 10 life as quickly as possible, flip the Cecil over and start gaining the life back and giving your guys indestructible. I have had multiple people in my chat be like, the +1/+1 counter is not very impressive. What, dude? You're talking about a 2-mana 3/4 once you put the +1/+1 counter on him. A 2-mana 3/4 is outrageously good in terms of what you're
Yeah.
paying, right? But apart from that, it's also a 2-mana 2/3 that draws a card, or a 2-mana 2/3 that pays you back a red mana the second turn it's in play. So it's kind of like a mana dork in a way that you don't even have to tap. Everything, like every mode on this card looks really good to me. The question is, what order do you choose the modes in? Like, I want to swing for 3 with my 2-drop as quickly as possible. But if I think they might have removal in their hand, well, I'm going to go ahead and choose the card draw mode. So I make sure I can get the card before they play the removal spell. So I think there's some tension on this card, but for the most part, for 2 mana, I think the actual rate that you're getting for all the stuff you're getting out of the card is outrageous. I think this card is really, really good. And let's talk for a second too about Alesha and about Carnage and about all the other like Rakdos creatures that can get this out of your graveyard if they do spend a removal spell on it. I just think that this card is bonkers. I think that it's maybe the best Rakdos aggro 2-drop in standard, both in terms of efficiency, like stats for the mana cost, and just in terms of general playability. This thing draws you a card, and there's not a whole lot in Rakdos aggro to just draw you a card. So how do you feel?
When I first previewed this card, I was kind of like, I don't know. And then I eventually give it to my opponent, but then I started thinking, for me to have to give this to my opponent, that means that Zuko has lived at least 3 turns.
Yep. Game might be over by the time you.
So it's like, all right, let's say it has survived. Why has it survived?
Right.
Right? Because the only way I haven't done enough damage to them is if for some reason they have killed everything else and not Zuko.
Right.
Which might be true. You might have played some quality 3-mana things, 4-mana things. They need to kill those. But then they were also somehow chump blocking with enough tokens to not have taken Zuko damage for 3 turns.
How do they have all the mana to do all this? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So that's kind of my thing. So it's like, it feels like I've attacked for some combination of at least 9-ish damage with just Zuko, if nothing else.
Just Zuko.
Yeah. So like, if that's the case, then them getting Zuko shouldn't be that detrimental to me. Right? Because they're not on the aggressive yet, I wouldn't imagine. I mean, because worst case scenario, I'm attacking and they're blocking with, I don't know, some death touch thing or whatever, or they're just going to take the damage so they could eventually have a Zuko. So, like, if nothing else, Zuko creates some interesting game decisions.
Yeah.
On, okay, am I trying to play long enough to where I get the Zuko, or do I just need to kill it now before you get all the value off of it?
And I think 9 times out of 10, that will be the answer.
Yeah,
I think they'll be forced to kill it as quickly as possible before it becomes a 3/4 and you draw a card.
Yeah.
Because those are both really good. And I still think that, like, if you do go like turn 1 Cecil, turn 2 Zuko, at that point you're piling damage on. And by the time they do, if they decide the best course of action is to get the Zuko eventually, at that point they're taking 2 damage a turn. How long is that sustainable for them?
Not just that. Zuko means only 2 attack steps and you get to flip your Cecil.
Yeah, it don't take long. Don't take long at all. And I like that. I think there's some cool stuff about this. If your opponent is tying up their mana, removing your guys, they're not casting creatures, or they're casting smaller creatures than Zuko. Or consider this. Let's say they are using their mana to kill what other creatures you have so that you don't get too much value and they eventually get your Zuko. That's all well and good. You're getting paid an extra mana on one of those turns. Again, their mana is tied up.
Oh, sure.
You get an extra mana. That's a big game right there in a game of Magic. So I don't know, man. You just don't usually see an aggressive 2-drop that attacks for more than it should be attacking for at its mana cost, draws a card just in case, right? Everybody loves that. And also ramps. This card does like the 3 best things you can do in a game of Magic: an above rate creature, a drawn card, and ramp. So I don't see why this card's like $4. I don't even think it's that much. It's really cheap right now. Yeah, $3.80
for the series. It's also a well flavored card because in the series, he's doing
Switching
this whole thing
sides.
where he's having to run from his own family who's basically, like, disregarded him or whatever, but he's chasing down the Avatar to try to win back favor. So
Ah, I
but then at
see.
some point, the family basically puts a hit out on him or whatever because he's viewed as a traitor and, like,
Jeez.
so there's this whole thing back and forth of, like, well, do I still wanna be back with the Fire Nation or whatever, you know? Like, and do I still like, Iroh's trying to tell him, like, I don't think the honor really matters the way you think it does right now. Like, there's no honor with the bad guys or whatever.
Right, right.
So, yeah,
Right.
it's a pretty crazy thing, but it's a cool design card. I like this is a fun rare that creates interesting gameplay decisions, and I'm here for it.
I think this one might be very strong, but
Very
I
well
want to know
could
what
be.
your next pick is. We've been on Zuko for a minute.
It's alright. I think people like hearing us talk about cards.
Yeah.
So, this is one that we hinted at the end of the overrated cards, but Beifong's Bounty Hunters, I'm putting on my underrated list.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Hear me out. Let me try to sell you on this card.
Yeah, I would please, please.
Right? It's 2 black green for a 4/4 human mercenary. Whenever a non-land creature you control dies, you earthbend X, where X is that creature's power. Now, I will say somebody apparently believes in this card at least a little bit because they're going for like $6 to $8. So
Yep.
kind of surprising. But here's the thing: the only
That's why they
down,
were almost on my overrated is because they're just too expensive. The card's too expensive.
well, I say the only downside for me on this is that it does compete in the slot that when I'm playing black and green are often going to be like Ouroboros or Elegy Acolyte slots.
Right. That's
That
another thing. It's a
that's the
4 drop.
but
Yeah.
but I could see myself cutting one of each, or maybe go down to just one acolyte or whatever to play a couple of
I
these.
ain't cutting Orboroid.
But the reason is
No.
that this is an amazing protective spell against board sweepers. Like, literally, assuming you just go, Llanowar Elf on 1, something on 2, something on 3, this thing on 4, right? You don't have to worry about overcommitting to the battlefield because they have to kill this card.
Let me ask you something.
Mhm.
3 cards. I got 3 cards I want to bring up.
Sure.
Was Luminous Broodmoth really good against sweepers?
I don't even remember what it is, so I'm gonna say no.
Ha ha ha. Was Nightmare Shepherd really good against sweepers?
I actually gotta look up Luminous Broodmoth real quick to
Okay.
Oh, wait, no,
Okay.
that was the thing from Ikoria, right? I do
Yeah.
remember that
Yeah.
card.
Yeah. It brings when a creature dies, it brings it back as a flyer. It has a flying counter on it.
Yeah, that was fine,
It
but
was
but
fine.
not but
It was
not
fine.
great. It was
It
fine.
wasn't played too often in
Yeah,
standard. You remember Nightmare Shepherd?
yeah.
Remember that card? Oh, yeah.
Nightmare
Not
Shepherd actually was okay. I played it
it
a
was
little
all
bit.
right,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, I played a little bit too.
that card
But
was actually good. I
as
actually
far as
was
like the top tiers of standard, I don't think anybody was playing Shepherd.
Oh, we were playing Shepherd? What are you talking about?
At the top tiers,
Yes, that card
like the
was
best
actually
decks in
playable.
standard.
Yeah.
I have to look back at that. I don't remember Shepherd being that important in standard.
Yeah, this
Like
card
not
got
for like
played.
the big decks.
No, no, no.
And I had another one and now it's gone. But it was
But
another 4 mana thing that like it's a sweeper protection, but like these typically don't tend to be as good as
no,
we
no, no,
want
no,
them to
no,
be.
but this is better than those because it basically let's say
Oh,
again,
Ratadrabic was the other one. Sorry.
nah, Redodrabic, you have to like build a deck specifically for it.
Right.
Like
That's true.
that's a whole different thing. But here, literally, let's say you go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You just play your creatures, no problem. Typical gameplay. Hell, let's say you don't even have a Lana Rolf. You do something on 2, something on 3, this on 4.
Right.
Right? So you have probably a 2 power thing, a 3 or 4 power thing, and then this thing. Like if your opponent sweeps the board, you still have all the same power on the battlefield.
That's true.
Like because this doesn't say other creatures, it also counts itself.
It does. It counts itself, which is like the best part of the card.
And when
It
you're
really
comparing
is.
this to
Yeah.
something like a Nightmare Shepherd or whatever, you were getting 1/1s. This, you're like, no, you still have the exact same power on the battlefield. You just transferred it from creatures to lands. And you still get to attack with the exact same amount the next turn. Like, and if you are playing something that's already earthbended, well, great. Right? So those creatures die, they come back, and then you just stack new counters on them.
It's like I guess my other problem with this is that let's say okay, so two real issues. A lot of the sweepers people play right now are 3 and 4 mana. People play Split Up, people play Day of Judgment. And so like there's going to be plenty of times where you don't even get to this card before they get to their sweeper. So That's
Sure.
issue, I guess, like number
Well,
one. But
arguably, it's the
even if
same
you
turn as Day of Judgment. Like,
true,
if
but you if they get to go for if they're on their turn three,
sure,
four, if they're
but
on their turn four
are you gonna
first,
want a Day of Judgment to get rid of, like, maybe a mana creature and, like, a I don't know, some other junky guy?
I've
Like,
done it, but it's usually not a
sure,
junkie. Like their 3 drop is usually a pretty intimidating dude.
sure.
As long as I can pick up 2 guys, I'll cast Day of Judgment usually. But no, there's
But even
also I
then,
had
I'm
something else.
still gonna play my Beifong's Bounty Hunters next turn.
The next turn, right? I'm still gonna have to deal with it. I
Yeah,
get
it's
that.
still a 4/4, and then if you don't exile it, I still have a 4/4.
Yeah, and if I do like get lost it or something, or you still have a 4/4 and some map tokens and stuff
Exactly.
like that, could it could be serious. Don't get me wrong. But if people do like, okay, the other sweepers people play, let's say you get your Beifong's Bounty Hunters down on turn 4, and I haven't played a sweep yet. Turn 5, I play my sweep, and it's Ultima,
Sure, but that's
which
gonna
ends
apply
the
to
turn,
anything,
and you
though.
don't
Like,
get
but
Earthbending.
now we're playing the, like, dies to whatever, right?
I mean,
Dies to terror.
we're playing the dies to the most played, sweepers in standard game.
Sure, but that's
Like,
every 4 mana thing. That doesn't say this card's bad because that card exists, it's just because it's a creature.
I think it does say that though. I think it does say like that it's bad because those cards are the most played sweepers. I think it does. In fact, I think that is the case.
I disagree
Like
highly.
I say, we
If
can agree to disagree.
if
I
anything,
don't think this is
ultimately
dies to removal. I think this is dies to like the most popular removal, which is
but
different.
all of them do. Like, what 4/4 doesn't die to those?
Yeah, but the problem is this 4/4 dies to like an Ultima or something, and it specifically doesn't give you the value that you wanted on death.
Sure,
A Biza as a 4 drop has already given you the value, so it is better. Like
but
any 4 drop that provides value on ETB would be much better than this against all sweepers. So that is,
so
yeah.
we're talking about a card, largely, a card that is the sweeper that gets played, that this is bad against.
There's also another sweeper in this set that keeps death triggers from going off. The new black and it's like double black and X thing, and that thing's going to be popular too.
I don't think that's gonna be that popular, though. I think people are still gonna be playing the other one that we can exile stuff permanently or whatever.
We'll see. I think that there's a chance
Be
that that new
because
double black
graveyard
X
stuff
one is.
exists, I think people are still gonna play the other one.
We'll see. I mean, that's probably a good call there. But
Yeah.
and I will say if they do play Deadly Cover Up, this is good against Cover Up. It is,
Yeah,
but
that's what
I
I'm
have to wait
saying,
and
like,
see.
there's literally
I haven't played against a Resolve Cover Up in a
and to
long
be
time.
fair,
Until
Ultima
then,
just makes earthbending bad, like, it's the answer to earthbending. So, like,
which
that's the
answers this card.
yeah, but I'm
But
saying,
it also,
but that's
Ultima
fine.
also answers aristocrats and stuff like that. Like
Sure,
Ultima's the
yeah.
played card in standard.
Yeah, so you just take that chance. You're not gonna not play cards because Ultima is good against them, right?
I
Like,
think but isn't that the reason people don't play cards all the time?
no, not at all,
Because
like,
the
I'm still
matchup is
playing my
bad. You know what I
creatures.
mean? Like you don't play certain cards because Vivi is a deck in the format. You don't play certain cards because mono red is a deck in the like you can barely play 5 drops because mono red is the best deck. So like, yeah, I think that that's a decision people make like all the time.
I don't think it's on the same level. I think we're talking about very different things here. Because
Fair enough.
you're still gonna have sweepers regardless, right? Like, people are still gonna play Ultima, you just don't like, I mean, I would still play this over other cards because the upside is so much higher than other cards.
Yeah, but like,
Like,
what other sweeper protection would you play this over in standard right now?
what other sweeper protection?
Yeah, like what even sweeper protection is in standard to play this over right now?
I mean, like, nothing that's gonna be good for multiple creatures.
Honestly, that might be a point in the card's favor,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Like, that's why
Yeah.
I've been arguing it. Like,
Yeah.
there's things that stop one thing, like if I want to play Defend the Rider or whatever, because I've played
Yeah.
that. Like, you sometimes just have to because it's all that's available. You're right. It does a thing, but this literally just basically protects all your creatures.
Yeah. I like the larger discussion we got in just then. I do. I
Yeah.
think that I'll stick to my guns though a little bit. I think that there are, if a card is played enough in standard, it absolutely keeps other cards from seeing play. Like we know
Okay.
that.
Let's do this.
You
If you
know?
want to run down all of the decks that are playing Ultima right now,
Yeah.
the blue white control decks,
Yeah. I was mostly blue
like,
white control.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's it,
Yeah.
right? So all the other sweepers, this is going to be good against. So I'm
I don't
like,
think
I'm
too
okay
many
playing,
sweepers seeing play in standard right now, actually.
but I'm okay playing those odds, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is good against mono red because, like, they kill it and you're great. I still have a 4/4,
Yeah, I
right? Like,
guess in a way this could be great against mono red just because like it's a 4/4 and if they so it's hard for them to kill.
yeah, or you
If they
jump block
actually
with
do,
something
it
else
replaces
and
itself.
keep
Yeah.
this. Like you trade and then you still have a 3/3 land or whatever.
Just it
Right?
just goes back to what we're saying, I think, in a different one of these videos that we recorded today, in that, like, this it's grindy, and, like,
Sure.
grindy is not really where standard is, you
I
know?
think it's not because you don't have the right parts. A card
And
like
maybe
this
this is part of
can
that.
be because now when things die, you didn't fall lose anything.
Yeah.
That's the trade-off. That's the biggest thing about earthbending, is that even if you lose your creature, you still have a creature behind. Which I don't think we've had anything like that, maybe ever, honestly,
Eh,
which is gonna change the way we play Magic in Standard.
yeah, I will say that unlike a Nightmare Shepherd or Luminous Broodmoth or whatever, like, at least you'll still have the land, like, no matter what. Like,
Yeah,
they'll earthbend a land, and if they kill the land, you get the land back, and that's not true of the creatures that, like, Luminous Broodmoth gets back.
yeah,
But, however, you put your creatures in your deck for a reason. It's usually because they do cool stuff. And, like, when you're paid back with a land instead of your creature, that could suck. Like, that could be a downside, right? Like, I don't
sure,
get my awesome 2 or 3 drop back. I build my whole deck around. I just get a land, you know? And I think especially in Golgari that matters. Like, okay, if my Deep Cavern Bat dies, I get a 1/1 Earthbended land, as opposed to my Deep Cavern Bat re-enters play, which would be insane. So again, I think that
sure.
that's kind of the trade-off with the card like this. You don't get the creature itself back, you just get a land. And that's
But
kind of
again,
lame at the end of the
it's
day.
it's for one thing on those other cards, unless you're talking about Shepherd to just get a 1/1 token or whatever. But
Right.
when you're talking about a Luminous Broodmoth, it's like, okay, like maybe.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll wait and see on this. This is definitely the most spirited discussion
For
we've had
sure.
in a couple of
Like,
sets
I'm
about a
I'm
card.
I'm gonna play with this card for sure. That's all I know.
Give it a shot. I mean, let me know. Let me know. We'll know soon. Like
Oh,
right
yeah,
after
yeah,
the
yeah.
set releases, we'll know if this card is good because a lot of people are talking about it. I would say that.
Definitely.
But you're saying, it's underrated in that, like, maybe even more people should be talking
Well,
about it.
yeah,
I
because
read
like I
an
said,
article on MTG Rocks about this. DraftSim has an article. There
just
are
like
a
we
lot
said,
of writers talking about this
there's
card.
only one real sweeper that makes this just outright bad
Yeah,
that people are playing. Like, possibly 2 if one of them
possibly.
catches on in this set, right?
We'll wait.
All the
Yeah.
other ones don't. So it's just like, yeah, why not have some sweeper protection in a deck that already wants to be doing earthbending possibly?
You know what's funny too? The last thing I'll say about that new sweeper that does that
Mhm.
is that it could kill a board full of earthbent lands for just 2 mana.
Sure.
Is how that would work.
Yeah.
It almost seems like it's meant to be against earthbending, but
And in some ways it
we'll
probably
see.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see about it. But I think we're on my number 2. Is it?
Yeah, yeah,
Can we
yeah.
go? Yeah. Yeah. Funny enough, it's a 4 drop.
There
So
you go. Yeah.
let's see about it. My number 2 is Phoenix Fleet Airship. This is 4 mana, 2 and double black for a 4/4 vehicle with flying and a cruise for 1. At the beginning of your end step, if you sacrificed a permanent this turn, recreate a token that's a copy of this vehicle. As long as you control 8 or more permanents named Phoenix Fleet Airship, this vehicle is just an artifact creature. So this may not look like much, but all you have to do to create a copy of it is sacrifice literally anything during your turn. It can be a fabled passage or some other evolving wilds or something. It can be a clue token or some other lander or whatever, map token you can sacrifice. You can sacrifice a creature to an Umbral Caller Zealot. The point is, it says permanent. Sacrifice a permanent. I think it's really easy to do. You don't have to attack with it on any given turn. If you want to talk about sweeper protection, I got your sweeper protection right here, bub. This actually, too, I think people are missing this. Last thing before I turn it over to you. I think people are missing that if I sacrifice a permanent, a turn this is in play, and I get another copy of it. If I sacrifice a permanent again, the second turn, right? Now I'll get 2 more copies of it.
Mhm.
So it shouldn't be too hard to get to 8 copies within just a couple of turns. Now, of course, we've talked about how standard isn't super grindy. It'll take maybe 3 turns to get this to just be an artifact creature. But in the meantime, it is a 4 mana 4/4 flyer that crews for like the lowest possible imaginable total, right? Just 1 to crew this. I don't think a 4/4 flyer is too special, but I do think that once you get a copy of it, you get a single copy of this, it becomes extremely irritating because your opponent might have a removal spell for it. If you don't make a creature out of it, you don't crew it, they probably won't have a removal spell for it. So that's worth noting. It's relatively removal proof. But once you get a second copy of it, it becomes incredibly hard to completely remove this creature forever
Yeah.
and to keep it from making more copies of it, of itself. So I think this is way better than it looks. Um, because I haven't heard really hardly any talk about this whatsoever. It doesn't have a price yet for whatever reason on Scryfall, but it appears to be a card that no one's paying literally any attention to. And I think that this could represent 12 power within like one turn. I think this card's really, really good, actually. Like we talked earlier, we've talked a couple times today about like, well, the 4-drops in standard are really good. And we just talked about a really good 4-drop in standard in Bounty Hunters. This I really think is on the level of Elegy Acolyte, and that's a card I really, really like. Sure. I love Elegy Acolyte, and I soapboxed for that card a lot before EOE came out. This I really feel like is close to that same like level of playability, and a little bit like Sheldred. If you let it sit on the table for more than a turn or two, it becomes like an actual problem. So sure. I think there's a lot to this.
Assuming you have just like a series of things you can sacrifice, right?
Right.
Here's the thing about the card, because again, what is it bad against? Ultima, right? So like we could do this all day with cards.
It also blows up artifacts. Yeah,
like this was my point on the Beifong. Like we can't really use that as an argument because it's just good against a lot of things, or you just would never play them, right? But we still play the cards. You know, we still play our Ouroboros, we still play our Elegy Acolytes, we still play whatever, because they still do things. The Phoenix Air Fleet Airship is interesting because, like, if it sticks, it has potential to be really big, really fast. It's like, what decks are playing it? Because I was thinking about this. Like, does something like the Orzhov Sacrifice deck that plays like Sephiroth and all those things that wants to sacrifice stuff, like, do they play like 2 of these as their upper end? Because currently they don't really play anything other than the Raise the Pass, right, for 4 mana. Everything else
most black-white sack decks don't even play Sephiroth right now. They're just 2 mana creatures and Raise the Past all the way through.
But could you play one of these, 2 of these, and then just be like, you know what? I'm gonna sack a dude. Now I have 2. Like, and then next turn I'm gonna attack with 2 4/4 flyers or whatever.
I have 8 damage in the air. Like,
yeah,
that can end the game like so fast. Like, it snowballs so quickly.
And that's a real thing that could happen. You know, like, it's not insane to think about. Like, there's a bunch of easy ways to sacrifice stuff on the back of creatures, even or artifacts that you could reuse. Does a mono black controlling type deck play a couple of these? Like I was saying, I just played an artifact, you know, on mono black, what's it called? With the big dragon planeswalker, right? So it's like, that could play a copy or 2 of this. There's a fair amount of artifacts in the deck we can sacrifice to draw cards and gain mana and whatever. So like, maybe, right? You know what I mean? Like, you only need a couple of these and then you could just kill your opponent with them. It's just bonus, right?
Yeah. It's like, I just said this probably doesn't see play in Sephiroth, but the more I think about it, it's like, well, you can play this on turn 4 and then use Sephiroth to attack and sack something.
Yes.
So the turn you play this, you will get a copy of it.
You don't even need Sephiroth. They have the other guy. You could just sacrifice the thing to Scry or Surveil.
Yeah, Umbral Zealot or whatever. Yeah, just immediately sack something when this come down and you'll have 2 copies of it. Or 1 copy of it that same turn.
Or you build in mind with some of the 1/1s or 2/2s that just sacrifice for an ability.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of the cards in that deck are going to be able to, you know, crew this very easily. I mean, obviously it's
just all of them can. It's only with
that's just it. Even the smallest creatures in the deck can. That's why I think the crew 1 is noteworthy. Is like Greedy Freebooter, Infestation Sage, the token Infestation Sage makes, Nezumi Linkbreaker, the token Nezumi Linkbreaker makes. Like, every little tiny thing in that deck can crew this. And I think that matters too. Because a lot of times, if you're trying to get 3 for damage in that deck, you can't. Like, all your dudes are 1/1s for 1 mana, right? So this might give you that last burst of damage that you need on like turn 5.
Even if you don't copy it and you just dome your opponent for 4, sometimes that's all that deck needs, because it just can't get the last 2 or 3 points of damage. And it's like, okay, well, here's 4, and now I'm still going to sacrifice some stuff at the end of turn.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I'm going to bang you for 4, and then I get to sacrifice the rest of my stuff to Zealot, and that triggers Vengeful Blood Witch and Sephiroth, and I can deal 4, 5, 6 to you that way. So yeah, I think this might be integral in sort of closing the door for certain sacrifice decks.
Yeah, there's some spots it could go on, like I said, or maybe even, like we're saying, just a mid-rangey deck where you can sacrifice some maps or something or whatever.
Right. That's the thing, that's the point I really wanted to make, is I think it's way easier to sack a thing. People look at this and they're like, oh, aristocrats. I don't think it has to go in aristocrats.
No, it doesn't have to.
I really don't. Nope. I think there's plenty of ways to sack stuff in this environment. So
definitely.
I don't know. Look out for this one. I mean, it's not even. I don't think it's the best black 4-drop in the set. I think Fire Nation Drill is the best 4-drop in the set in black, which is basically just destroy a creature when it comes into play, and it's like a 6/3 vehicle that crews for one. That's probably better in a lot of ways, but I think that this one has this kind of snowball effect that some of the best. Okay, so like Sheldred has a kind of snowballing effect if it's in play too many turns, or a Boroid has a snowballing effect if it's in play too many turns. I think this is the same story. I really do. So
Yeah, it could be.
fan of it, but I want to know what your next pick is there.
Well, I'm going bigger. We talked about
Okay.
4 mana things. I'm going 5 mana things here. And because it's in the set in branding, I have to have the dragon on my list. So Ran and Shaw. It's a 3 colorless red 4/4 dragon with flying and fire breathing too, which is like, all right, that's fine. But when it enters, if you cast them and there are 3 or more dragons or lessons in your graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except the copy's not legendary. And then just for bonus, you can pay 4 mana and your dragons get +2/+0, which conveniently, if you have 2 of them attacking and they have fire bending, you have 4 mana.
4 mana.
Yeah, like go
It's
figure.
card design right there.
Yeah. No, this just seems really fun to me. Now,
Yeah.
arguably, again, is it better than the other 5 mana dragons? Like, I don't know, because some of those have really good abilities attached to them. However, one that gets you 2 bodies, if you're already doing a dragon deck or you're already doing a lesson deck, yeah, maybe you just play it and get
Maybe.
2
Yeah.
bodies and your dragons all get a bonus when you attack. Like, that seems good. It's like, yeah, I'm okay with it. Even after a sweeper, just like you hold on to this, your opponent sweeps the board, you're great. I have 2 4/4s that have big
Yeah.
fire breathing, basically.
Beat that. Hey, it
Yeah.
kind of goes back to I was just saying that. If you have 2/4/4 flyers, you should be winning the game pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's what this
I can get
says.
a 2 for 1. Like, seems good.
No- Not only that, but I can pump them
Yeah.
as well. So I mean, they end the game even faster. Yeah, I think as far as 5 mana like dragon options go, we've talked about this recently in other videos. There's a lot of them in standard that I really like. But I'd be willing to try this guy out. I think that usually 2 dragons is better than 1 dragon. Double
Yeah.
dragon, that's good.
And the ability to pump all your dragons. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think this at least goes in like dragon-based commander decks because of that activated
oh, for
ability.
sure.
And honestly, dragon commander decks have pretty tight deck lists at this point, but I think this finds a slot and
I mean,
always has a
really,
home there.
this could be one of the upper end cards as well for just lesson decks as a whole, right? Like
Yeah, period.
you're already playing lessons, you play like 2 of these and an IRO as your upper end, maybe,
Yeah, yeah,
something like
maybe.
that. And yeah, this could be fine.
Well, I think you're obligated to play it. I think you're obligated at this point to
Well,
build a
I have to at least
dragons
try
deck.
it. Like,
Right. Like if it says dragons you control get the bonus or whatever, then yeah, you got to throw it in a
yeah.
deck with like 50 dragons to
But
try
yeah,
to make that work.
I don't think this is flashy in any way. I think it's just one of those cards that once I go into the tank to start building the next dragon deck or building a lessons deck just to try it, I have to consider this card. Like just
Right.
getting 2 4/4s with giant fire breathing and fire bending too, if I just want to spend the mana on other things, right? Like you can't turn that down for 5 mana. Like that's just too much value.
It is. It really is. I think that, people are going to look at this and have the compulsion to be like, well, Terror of the Peaks is better, but yeah, but it's not 2 guys. Like
Yeah.
this is 2 guys. That's really, really good. Like it took 1 card in your hand to get 2 guys, and it takes 2 cards from your opponent's hand to kill both guys. I think people forget how amazing that is from time to time.
And again, you know, you might be playing this in a lessons deck where you're not playing a Terror of the Peaks. Right? Like it just doesn't make
Right.
sense there. But this is just I'm already doing lessons
Lessons.
and I get to play a good dragon.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you on this one. I actually briefly considered this one for my overrated list when I was building it, and I was like, why? Why would this is there's way more cards more overrated than
Oh,
this. So
by far.
yeah.
By
So I
far.
know people just really like dragons, and I think that's what's driving what little price this is getting right now. But I think in standard, people are mostly underrating the card. I do think people don't think the card's going to be good in standard, but I think it's got a shot, especially considering we do have some dragon centric decks
Oh
that
yeah.
use like the dragon counter spell earlier on in the curve, caustic exhale or whatever it's called. Dispelling exhale,
Yep.
one way or the other. There are dragons decks in standard.
I'll say
And
this.
this could go in.
If I see a lessons deck, like I'm going to just assume at some point I have to deal with 2 flying 4/4s.
Right,
Right?
because it's one of the better payoffs for the lesson deck.
Yeah, because you only need 3 dragons or lessons, and not even 3 of each, it's 3 and or.
Yeah,
Right? So it's
and
just
or
some
you can
combination of
have a
3 of
dragon
those
and 2
things.
lessons,
Yeah.
like, maybe you've dropped another copy of them into your yard, and you've got 2 lessons, and then bing bang.
Yeah, that's super easy to do.
Yep.
But alright,
We
where are
have
we at?
reached,
You're number 1,
my
actually.
number 1, yeah.
Okay.
This one, I'm taking a massive swing on a card I know is probably bad because it's an aura. But what I think people aren't getting about this aura is that if it ever sticks, you've probably won the game with it. And that is Avatar Destiny. This is 4 mana, 2 and 2 green for an aura that enchants a creature you control. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard and is an avatar in addition to its other types. When enchanted creature dies, mill cards equal to its power. Return this card to its owner's hand and up to 1 creature card milled this way to the battlefield under your control. So you probably get a free creature off of this. It can whiff. It certainly can. But if you're playing your deck correctly, this is making the creature huge. This is basically making the creature into like a Lurgoyf style creature. So you could be milling 10 cards when the creature goes to the graveyard, and you really ought to hit a creature off of that. When you do, it gets back literally any creature in your deck, so long as you just milled it. And the Avatar Destiny itself comes back to your hand, meaning that if this is stuck onto a creature, it completely takes over the game. I am almost certain that that is the case. Either the creature you stuck it on is huge and they have to keep chump blocking it or let it through and it kills them. Or if they kill it with a removal spell, you Obi-Wan them, you strike it down, you become more powerful than they could possibly imagine. Like you not only you lose your guy, okay, big deal, but you mill 8 more cards. Let's just say you mill 8 more cards in your yard. And then you get a free creature. It can be a Vault-Born Tyrant, but even if it's a Lana War Elves that you get in this situation, well, you just milled a bunch of cards into your yard. So it's likely that when you stick the Avatar Destiny the second time, it will give an even larger bonus to the second creature you stick it on. So I think it only really takes sticking this card once. And then, like, you don't win the game, but a large portion of the game, the action in that game, becomes about this card. And I think that's really strong, very strong. So hit me with your thoughts and emotions. So just tell me I'm wrong. I probably am.
I mean, I wouldn't say you're outright wrong. I think there are some scenarios where this card could be good. Like, my first thoughts when I saw this were something like a mono green deck where you're emphasizing trample and then playing like 2 of these alongside like 4 Ouroboros as your 4 mana drops, right? And that's separate
That's
into
my
the deck.
number one issue with this card is that it's the same exact mana cost and value as Ouroboros.
But I think that's
So
fine. Like, I'm not saying play it in place of Ouroboros. It's just like, okay, I also have something else I could do on 4 mana, right? Which also, again, it's a 1 creature sweeper protection, but it's something,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
and you get,
Yeah,
well,
it's a removal protection,
maybe
exactly.
a little better than that because you also get to make that creature bigger the next turn by replaying the Avatar of Destiny or Avatar
Right.
Destiny if you want to,
Uh,
right? So, but again, if you're playing a bunch of tramplers, you're like, okay, cool. I'll just get like one of, hell, I don't know. There's a pile of tramplers you can get starting on
there's a
turn
bunch of
1.
really good tramplers. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just put on anything that tramples that you got back, and you're like, okay, well now I'm attacking with this, I don't know, 9 power attacker. Great. Like, do something
Yep.
about it, right?
The thing is, they have to throw things in front of it every turn, or prioritize killing the guy. And if they kill the guy, like you just get another guy
Yeah. Yeah.
and the Avatar Destiny back. So there's like no point in trying to remove the creature. I don't know. I think that's pretty strong. But again, you got to stick it.
Sure.
Easier said than done. But once it's stuck, it's great. I think it goes really well in decks with like Overlord of the Balemerc and other stuff that mills. You got like Town Greeter in the deck to get your lands and mill
Oh,
4
see, I
cards when
wouldn't
it
even
comes
do
into
that.
play.
I think that you just have so
A
many
little
other better.
dangerous.
Yeah, I think you just have so many better things to do at that point. You don't even need that card in the deck.
I
Like,
was seeing if I was playing it in like, the black green Season of Lost deck that's been kind of going around with Ice Till Explorer and stuff. If I was playing this card in that deck, it would be a one of.
sure,
I wouldn't play any more than that, very likely. The problem is in a deck with a lot of guys that mill, you run the risk of milling it into your graveyard and
sure.
never seeing it again. So you might want to play more copies, is
Or
all I'm
milling
going to say.
yourself out. Like, because if you,
That's why you got to be careful.
yeah, because you do
If you
put it on
got
something, your opponent kills it. You've already milled like 10 creatures. Like, that's tough.
Yeah, if you have like 20 guys in your yard, this could kill you if your opponent kills it. So you do have to be careful. But if it doesn't kill you, if it mills 20 cards and doesn't kill you, the next creature you stick it to is going to be like a 30-30.
Sure.
So like it's I think it might be worth it in that situation to like try it out, you know?
But yeah, like I said, my thought was you have tramplers at almost every drop in green,
Yep.
or like the what is it? The caretaker, not the one of the talents, whichever one is like when you attack, you can put a +1/+0 against trample.
Was it innkeepers
Oh, I think
perhaps
it's
or
Hunter's
something?
talents. I think it's Hunter's
Hunters. Yeah,
talent. In,
I think it might be too.
yeah,
Yep.
Innkeeper adds the counters, I think. But
Yeah.
if you're playing that, then it's like great. Now I basically everything has trample. So then Avatar's Destiny is just bonus the rest of the way. Like it's never going to be bad after that.
If you think about it, it turns any creature you want into a Lurgoyf. And one of Lurgoyf's like biggest problems is that they rarely have trample, right?
Yeah.
They just get chump blocked. But if you can turn a creature with trample into a Lurgoyf, suddenly you win the game. So I think I think it does at least have that going for it too. Just
Yeah, like I said, I could see a couple of
overall.
copies. I could totally see mono green upper end is just 6 4 mana cards, 2 of these and 4
Yeah.
Boroids, and that's good enough.
I did not. I think it's just because you're my friend that you're giving this one to me.
No,
Honestly,
no, no. I'm saying
I
I
think the
think
comment section is going to be harsher on me.
no, I mean, because again, we're not talking about a card that we're expecting to be in every single deck. Not a card that
No, yeah, not at all.
we're not talking about
No.
a card that's going to go up to being a $20 card or anything. Like this will be a quality like $1.50, $2 rare that will do some work when it shows up.
Right. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking $5 at the absolute. It'll be a miracle if his card's $5. But
Yeah.
I do think it could show up. I do. I do. But with that, I am very curious to know what your final card is.
Oh boy, my final card. This is one that I think I think it's better than it is. I think this is the one if I'm gonna miss, this is probably it. But we're
Okay.
talking about Aang at the Crossroads.
Oh yeah, I think this card is bonkers. I think this card is very, very
This
good. Yeah.
is a lot going on with this card actually. It's a
Yeah.
5 mana, so it's 2 colorless or 2 generic because if you say colors there's always a well actually like whatever, you know what we're talking about, man. Like it's 2 green, white, blue. It's a 3/3 human avatar ally with flying. So on its face, meh, so far 3/3 flyer for 5. But you have 2 paragraphs of stuff it does. The first one is when it enters, you look at the top 5 cards of your library. You can put a creature card with mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So,
Nasty.
yes, you're already getting a 3/3 and then something that costs 4 or less.
Could be anything. And we've already said this like 8 times in this video. Like the best creatures in standard cost 4 mana.
Yeah,
So,
and in
yeah.
3 colors, no less. You get options, right? There's a bunch of things it could be.
You can get an Ouroboros out of this.
You can get
4/4.
Ouroboros, you can
You
get
get an enduring curiosity off of this.
yeah,
You
Curiosity
can
is a
get
great card.
Visa, you know?
There's so many things you can get off this.
Mhm.
But then when another creature you control leaves the battlefield, you transform this and or at the beginning of the next upkeep, right?
Right.
So you can't do it at the end of turn. It has to survive the turn. But here's a fun thing. Imagine you play this and then you get something that allows you to sacrifice a thing,
Yep.
right? So and because of the way it's worded, you don't have to sacrifice a thing on your turn. So you can
Nope.
just wait and during their end step, you're like, I'm gonna sack this and get a +1/+1 or whatever it is the card does. And then now I get to flip this during my upkeep.
Yep.
And then the backside is a 4/4 flyer that all your lands have vigilance. So they're kind of secretly keywording it as if you have earthbending, your lands don't tap.
Right.
Then at the beginning of combat on your turn, you automatically earthbend too, just for the hell of it.
Yep.
Like this has to be playable, man, right?
Right. I mean, it's the easiest thing to flip in the world. It doesn't cost that much to play in the first place, and it's getting you how much mana value? Like potentially 8 or 9 or
Yeah,
something. Like it's just crazy. I think this card is a slam dunk.
like
I don't know how this could possibly like how much is this going for right now?
not that much, like $5.
What? It's crazy. Like compared to some of the other rares and mythics in the set, that is low. So, first of all, I think this makes a fantastic commander for what that's worth. So good in that format. But yeah, in standard, even though we don't have like a Bant deck or anything, I think this could easily like form the basis of a new Bant deck. That's just we've said this a couple times too in today recording these videos. Mid range value town is not really what it used to be, but this can get you so much amazing mana value like all at one time that like I want to try it. I'm if nothing else, try the card. Dude.
You know, I would argue that you don't even need to have a Bant deck. You could have a blue-white, a blue-green, a green-white deck, and just splash enough lands to
Yeah, to
cast
cast
this.
him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, we were talking already in the other video about, like, the Jackal Drunith decks or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
what if you just had enough lands that you could just make white and then just go get whatever you wanted on turn 4 or 5?
True. There's enough, if you built, say, a green blue, like a Simic base,
Yeah.
which I think it might be the best base for this, and you get some of the ramp that goes and gets specific basics. You just have like one planes in your deck, and you're good to go. So,
Or there's the green-white decks that play the
like the Bright Glass Gear Hulk
yeah,
and stuff.
exactly.
Yeah,
So then I
that's
do
sick.
this, I Gear Hulk, I get to go search for things, and that
Yep.
deck already has some stuff that I could just run into combat and have it die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, that's another thing is like the turn you play this, you can just run into combat and dare your opponent to block your stuff. Like, if you don't block my stuff, I get free damage on you. If you do block my stuff, I get to flip this guy. And like, you don't want me to flip this guy.
Oh,
Like,
here's even more fun, right? Like, let's say you do go get the Bright Glass Gear Hulk, and then one of the cards you get is a Phoenix Down. So now
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
so,
Yep. I was going to make this exact same point. Good thinking. Yep.
so now if they do kill Aang, you're like, sweet, during your end step, I'm just gonna get it back anyway.
Let me get another free guy off the top or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, so crazy, dude.
There's gotta be something here. I just can't I like, and maybe we're just Magic Christmas landing it or whatever, but like, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think this is like one of the strongest ETB triggers in the entire set.
It's real
It's a,
good.
it's a free guy. Like, even if I don't get a 4 drop, I'll probably get a 2 or 3 drop, and like that's good value. Like,
Or
that's all,
going and getting guys to just make more guys, right? Like, that's the other thing.
Yeah, that happens. You can do that.
So like, I don't know,
Easily
man.
do that.
Get this, go get an Earthbender, so then you're just juicing up lands. Like, there's a bunch of things you could do that are
Yeah,
there 4 or less.
and once he does flip over, he's got the same benefit as all the other earthbending stuff we've talked about today, which is that like, okay, I earthbend to one of my lands. They kill that land. It comes back. I can earthbend it again. Like, I never run out of creatures to earthbend effectively. And if my entire mana base is earthbend and I can't earthbend anything else, I think I'm winning. I'm pretty sure I won the game.
We also just
So,
have so many multicolor lands that
mhm.
it's not weird to see a 4-color deck or a 5-color deck right now. Like, that's totally doable because of this set even. Like,
Yeah,
you're incentivized for it. Like, even crazy, like I said, maybe you're playing a Bant deck, but you're just splashing a couple things because of allies, and then
yeah.
you just, like, I don't know, get any amount of just crazy cards into play, or humans for that matter, because there's a bunch of stuff that cares about humans that you could still use. Like, there's still so many things you could do with this card.
Yeah, I think this might go really well. Yeah, it goes insanely well with Helga the turn before it.
Yeah.
It's like Helga, you cast Helga on 3, you cast Aang on 4, and then not only will you get a free guy off the top, you also draw a card, gain a life, and put a counter on Helga. That's a pretty good little Bant Legends mid-range pal right there.
Yeah.
There's too much stuff you can do with this. There
Like I
really
said,
is.
it's too hard for me to see that this just has to be at least somewhat playable. Like, if
Yeah.
it doesn't show up at
Something.
all, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, the only thing that keeps it from seeing play is the fact that it's a Bant card. But like you've said, I mean, just splash the 3rd color and go at it, Hoss,
Actually, Bant Legends is a thing if you wanted to do that. Actually,
It already is.
green white Legends, and you just have the things that let you play blue in it. But
Yeah.
and a bunch of them
But,
are humans, so you can play all the different lands for a creature type, and like,
but yeah.
that's a real thing. And we don't even know what ally decks look like yet.
Yeah, that's another thing is that it might be a good card in ally decks, but like Final Fantasy had Sarah Farron and a bunch of other good like Selesnya Legends
Mhm.
cards. So any of that. The problem with it in a Legends deck is you might the only thing you hit is a legend you already have on the table. But I don't know if that's
Still
going to
worth the
happen all
risk.
the time. Yeah. It's like I think that the moment this snags an Ouroboros for you, what else do you want? Like,
Yeah.
what do you want out of your Magic cards? You know what I mean? So yeah, crazy card. Good pick on that. Seriously, I can't believe it's only $5. That's what this card should be double that at least. Like pre-order prices, it's an Aang from the Avatar set.
But
Card should be
again,
$20.
like we're talking about, when it's fandom, they want specifically the Avatar Aang, and that's what the other card
Yeah,
is, right?
that's true. That's true.
So I
Yeah.
understand. I get it.
But yeah, as far as like standard applications, like gameplay applications, standard, this card is way better than like the
It's gotta be.
Avatar Aang. Yeah, like I think this card's wild. I really do. I love this card too. Good pick. But,
All right. Well, that's everything. We've gone a little long on this, but we've had some good conversations about some crazy cards.
mhm.
So
There we have.
kind of just puts it in perspective of all the things we can do with Avatar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a good looking set. It really is,
yeah.
dude. There's a lot of slamming stuff
Also,
in this
reminder
baby.
for everybody. One thing, if you want to get your aggro U shirts, check the merch link down below.
You should. You should want those. They're good.
But the other thing is Wednesday, because this will be a day or two after you're watching this, we'll be
Yeah.
doing the live stream with all the different Avatar cards. You should come to our
Well,
channels.
I would say you will on
Oh,
your Twitch channel. I don't think I'm a part of this one
oh,
this
you're not
time.
gonna do the
I'm
boo.
trying to
Boo.
get involved in like Lorewyn stuff. I think I might want to try and sign up for the creator
Okay,
program or
I
whatever
will
for
work to
Lorewyn.
get you in that. Like we'll take care of that after this. I will do what I can.
Okay. You got some clout. That would be
At
helpful.
least for now, you can come here. But
I was gonna
just
say, anyone from my channel, please go watch him.
but just maybe, in case Dev's a part of it, where can they find you?
You can find me at Strictly Better MTG on YouTube.com. But if you want it to be a little easier, you could always just throw in SBMTG and I'll pop up with all kinds of lists and deck techs and preview videos and commander stuff. We did Pauper videos a little while ago, a little bit of everything for the magic playing gentleman or gentlewoman over on my channel. Come check it out.
Yeah, and if you're new here because you're an Avatar fan, or maybe you're just coming in because of Universes Beyond, or you're just a Magic player that wants to be better at Magic, check out my channel. We have a series of videos that are about being better at Magic, how to build different decks, baseline stuff that people may not know that'll hopefully make things better for you. Otherwise, enjoy the channel because we have tons of content here. Do all the things that make the dings, click the bell to make sure you're notified for everything. You know all the stuff. Otherwise, it's all I have you for now. We'll see you next time.